It's interesting. We're in this like brand marketing phase of AI where it's not product marketing. We're not like understanding how to use it.
I just don't think AI is moving as fast as what we think it is in terms of adoption of usage in the workplace. People are interested, but the interest is turned in automatically to tell me exactly what tool and how you used it to do what thing, because I want to replicate that. I want to do that too.
I get emails from vendors all the time, those kind of things. Like with AI, you can 10x your results. I'm like, but I don't know how. And you could like send me a trial of your program and I still won't know how. Someone teach me how this actually works. We're all busy all the time. Like we don't have time to figure out how we want to use this and build a system, and it'll probably make us more successful in the long run, but it's hard to think about that in the short run. And so that's like a huge thing facing a lot of us.
It's been my one gripe I've always had to product marketing people is they assume the end buyer user is way more like, higher level than what they really are around the technology, right? Around the processes. They might be a great HR person or a great recruiter or a great whatever, but you still have to tell them, show them exactly how to use that technology. But they don't even do that. They just launch the product and go, here you go. And then they're like, oh, there's no adoption. And you go, of course there's not, because they don't know how to use it, moron. Like figure it out. Like help them to help themselves.
Do you know who that generation of people is going to be? It's going to be the people that either work for or have worked for.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Sackett. I'm back with another edition of HR Famous. And for this episode, I have a very special guest.
Mm-hmm.
My middle son, he's not the oldest, he's not the youngest, he's smack dab in the middle. He was planned for almost. Cameron
God.
Sackett, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Cameron, introduce yourself. I know we've been doing HR Famous. You were with the original crew. You were the producer.
Yeah.
And then we've, kind of done all this kind of reset. And now you're coming back as a fully fledged adult contributor working in the real world. Tell everybody what you do.
I feel like I've been involved in like so many of your different ventures through the years from the podcast, which I was, like you said, like the COVID producer of that when I had just graduated college. I'm featured in the book. I've been on the blog before. I've been everywhere in the Tim Sackett universe, but
hey, I didn't have you to like go out and like work the fields. It's not what I do. Yeah,
I'm the only one of my brothers that will engage in this. So you got to milk me for all I'm worth. I work at Away, the luggage company. I'm a social media manager. I've been there for a little over 3 years, and I've worked in the social marketing space, influencer space for almost 5 years now, which makes me feel really old. But that's what I do. I live in Brooklyn and work in New York. I've been here for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I work with my dad sometimes too.
Cool. And your pop culture is kind of your thing.
For sure.
You like that a lot.
Yeah.
What are you watching lately that you love?
There's a lot of good TV on right now. We were just talking about this before we hopped on. I'm watching White Lotus, of course. Away did a White Lotus collection. So I've been in that
third season?
Third season. Yeah, they're in Thailand now, which is really cool. They always create an amazing cast of character actors, which you're like, I've seen all these people in like 3 to 5 things, but no one has really broken out majorly yet. So that's great. Watching Severance as well. That's probably my favorite show on right now. So good. Ben Stiller, who knew he had it in him? He's really killing it.
Severance makes me laugh out loud multiple times to stuff that nobody else is laughing just because of the work stuff.
Yeah.
Like I look at it from like the HR perspective of life. And sometimes it just like the little, like the melon parties and stuff like that. I literally makes me cry laughing. Like that's so funny.
Yeah.
I always do like, I get like, it seems like this is a big meme or Gen Z millennial kind of social shares. Like everyone wants to hate on the pizza party. It's like, don't give me a pizza party, give me a raise. And I'm just like, look, I got $100 in my HR budget. I can buy some pizzas. I can't give everyone a stupid raise. Do you want the pizzas or not? Like, I'm not the pizza guy. I think it's so funny. I'm like, you know what? If people are working hard and they're doing stuff and like, you show up to the office and you guys, if somebody came and like, oh, we're going to have a cool luncheon or whatever. You're not going to go, oh, don't give me a luncheon. I want a raise. Like, that's just dumb. That's like, you can do both, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, for very few companies do we have the like everyday lunch and breakfast provided left. Like no one's doing that anymore. You got to work for like the select 5 companies. And I feel like that was such a thing when I was looking for jobs. Like the best companies were giving you lunch every day and you could have like an Uber credit. I'm like, that doesn't exist anymore. That's a dream, not a reality.
It was like a weird like decade of that happening. And like, and again, it's all coming back, right? Every time you do, like the bill has to be paid by somebody. And these investors literally gave billions of dollars to these tech companies, 99% of which failed, right? I mean, we hear about like the big ones and you got the NVIDIAs and the Teslas and all this stuff that like, you know, are worth trillions of dollars or whatever. Cool for them. 99% of that money was set on fire for stupid crap like, hey, we have matcha on tap, or we have, you know, kombucha in 25 flavors. And you're like, why? Like, how about you make money? You know, and they're like, oh, it's the only way we could get people. No, it's not. Stop it.
Yeah.
You guys are dumb.
Before I worked at Away, so this was like way back in the early days, they used to send the whole company on a company-wide retreat out of the country. Like every single person would go to like Costa Rica.
By the way, so you and I are falling into the same pattern career-wise. I felt like every time I took a new job with a new company and some of the best brands, I got to hear all like, well, gosh, just before
days.
you started, we had bonuses of 7 figures and they would give us gold-plated Cadillacs. And you're like, now I'm like, they're whipping us to work 12 hours a day. I'm like, what is going on? How did I miss the good days? Every time I miss the good days.
Maybe one day we'll get there.
Maybe. I can hope. I can aspire to be a part of a good day segment. I think the people that work for me were like, you know, we do it. We have some good days. And if they ever like, I'm the only one in my company that bitches about the pizza parties. Like, because it seems like everybody, like you know me, like I just want to do it myself. Like I'll just order the pizza because then I get what I want for sure. Yeah. And I get as much as I want of what I want. And then I put it to somebody else. And we come to the pizza party and there's 1 pepperoni pizza, 14 veggie pizzas. And you're like, what's going on here? Everyone loves veggie. No, there's 12 and a half veggie pizzas left. Everybody's hungry. It's like, what's going on? I hate this, you know?
Yeah. Well,
I'm
not there yet.
I've fired 327 people over ordering pizzas in my career.
That you set a world record there. Guinness is going to give you a call.
Every time someone fucks it up, I just go, you're fired. You're fired from ordering pizzas for the rest of your life. You can no longer do this. You know, it's terrible. So White Lotus, Severance. Mom and I were watching Yellow Jackets season 1. Yeah.
It's on season 3 now?
Season 3 now.
Yeah.
I made it through a season, so it's not terrible. I mean, it's good, you know, acting, story, blah blah blah. What I hate is Paramount Plus now wants me to buy up to Paramount Plus, Showtime Plus, Hulu Plus, blah blah blah, to watch the next season. Which I kind of respect them for it. I'm like, cool, you got me. I'm not going to buy up. I'll just say like, I'll wait for it to come on Netflix at some point in the next 10 years. Who cares? Mom had me watching some stupid agent movie. Like she loves like the agent. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna.
There's so many agent shows right now.
We're gonna save the world from apocalyptic AI. You know. And by the way, the one she had me watching, I watched it only because the 2 main actors were so god awful. They weren't even beautiful people. I understand like if you go, oh my gosh, these are the most 2 beautiful actors of all time. And I'm like, okay, I'll put up with bad acting if you're beautiful. They were average looking, horrible. Like I would make fun of, like they would have no inflection. Like they would be like the girl had to leave the boy and he's like, you just have to quit me, Gene. You're like, what that's the worst. What is this? This is the worst acting of all time. And so I laugh watching it and she just gets pissed off beyond belief that I'm actually laughing. And I'm like, it's entertainment. And she's like, will you just please shut up and I can watch this? I'm like, wait, this is terrible.
Is the show The Night Agent on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay,
there's
Jacob watched that.
I've had to watch both seasons.
I couldn't.
It's the worst acting of all
It's
time. That guy
terrible.
should never be
Terrible.
hired as an actor. I wouldn't hire him as an actor at a local production of like, Les Mis. Like it just couldn't. He's awful.
I actually feel like it's a Netflix strategy thing where they want to make shows that are so easy for you to understand if you're on your phone or like reading a book at the same time. And so they hire the most average people and the average scripts because it's just like way easier to understand.
I think it's a Netflix. Now, I wouldn't say conspiracy. We'll call it a scheme to figure out how cheap they can actually produce something that people will watch. Like,
absolutely.
I'm sure this guy's getting $200 an episode, right? And like living in his van. Like, that's how terrible he is. And I don't even know the actor. What's the actor's name? Look it up.
I have no idea. I think that show is actually a huge hit, which is crazy.
It is. It is. No, like I talk to so many people, they're like, "Oh, have you watched The Night Agent?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I judge you in your intelligence based on if you watch The Night Agent." Gabrielle Basso is Peter Sutherland, and then Luciana Buchanan. Again, I like her better. She's head and shoulders above from an acting standpoint. He is god awful, and again, it's a nice I'm sure the guy's a nice guy. He's paying for his family. He's got like 13 million followers on Instagram. He actually has 461, which makes me laugh even harder. Because if you have a successful TV show and you only have 461,000 followers on Instagram, it just shows me how bad you are. If you can't have 1 million, come on. You have 2 seasons on a Netflix show.
You can ride Netflix.
They could put me
show to start
in one. I could be in one episode of The Agent. And I would have 1 million followers on Instagram. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, great.
I would leverage that.
Netflix, if you want to try this out, send Tim Sackett a DM.
Okay, hey, let's talk shop a little.
Great.
So we just got back from spring break. I know you're pained because your youngest brother got to go on yet another free trip for spring break. But it got me thinking when I got back is like, we don't really do like a Christmas break either or a summer break or stuff like that for employees. But almost everybody in America, like between Christmas and New Year's, if you're working a white collar job, you don't either you take it off completely or you say you're working, but you're not really working. Like no one really is working.
It's a shutdown.
Why don't we do a spring break for adults?
Yeah. I don't know.
The reality is if you have kids, you probably have to take it off anyways, right?
True.
Like at some point. So my question is like, why don't we just do that? Would you go ahead?
No, I was just going to say that I remember it feels like we need to align nationally on what spring break is if we're going to do that, because I remember even growing up, like the town over from us would have a different spring break. And it's like, why aren't we all aligning on the same spring break, or maybe doing a couple versions of it? Maybe the Midwest has this one, the South has this one, the West Coast has this one. And then we can actually implement something like that.
That makes sense, except every time we would try to go on spring break, because if you're up north, if you're Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota,
it's crazy.
Ohio, well, it's all you want to go anywhere. Like think of the worst warm place in the world, and they're like it's $1,000 per ticket for sitting in the Spirit Airlines back seat. You're like, what? Why does it cost so much? It's because everyone's trying to go on spring break. I almost think you have to like schedule it like. Kind of like rotate it. Like Michigan, your spring break is this week to this week. Wisconsin, Minnesota, you get this one. And like you can kind of do that because it kind of gets, warmer later the farther you go north. Like you could figure this out. We can't even figure out like the time change.
Oh my God, don't get me
like
started.
Spring forward and you wake up and you're just like, why are we still doing this? Every president in the last 100 years has said like, I'm going to end daylight savings. That's like on their platform. And not one of them. I think it's like an Illuminati conspiracy thing. Like, why can't we end daylight savings time?
Who wants it? It's people that wake up before 6 a.m., which...
Nobody wants it. No one wants it.
No one.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, spring break. I would love a spring break because I haven't had a spring break in... I'm aging myself 5 years.
That would be a good employee
college.
benefit. After 5 years out of college. So they should do this for early career. So like if you started right out of college, after 5 years, they should say, hey, one of your 5-year benefits is we're going to send you on spring break.
That's fun.
That would be fun.
I took like a makeshift spring break. I went to Mexico City for not like a full week, but 5 days. And I took just PTO and went over a long weekend. I actually went over President's Day. So I had one of those days off. But I would love a spring break in like March, April, because that's really when you need to take a trip because it's so gross out. And especially in Michigan, I mean, it always like snowed in the middle of April and you're ready to get out.
Well, in
But
Michigan, they do like the universities have the spring break like first week of like first or second week of March,
mhm.
and then like high schools and like all those don't have it until like April, like Easter, time frame, all of that. So it's a little they do break that up a little bit, and part of that is like for universities, like they're getting out like at May 1st now. Like, can you imagine like,
Yeah,
hey,
I got out
April,
in
the
April.
first week of
Yeah.
April we had spring break, and 3 weeks later we were out of school.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I think so too. It's because so many people are already just taking breaks over the summer. You have a lot of built-in breaks. You have Memorial Day, you have 4th of July, you have Labor Day. You basically go Christmas to Memorial Day with no built-in breaks unless your
Yeah.
company will give you like a President's Day or something like that, or an MLK Day, which not everyone does.
But even then, that's January, right? Like
Yeah.
MLK, isn't that? Like it's
Yeah, that
really
is.
early.
So it's like right after. Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, you're just like, look, I want to get back to work. I can't. I've been with my family for 2 straight weeks. I
Oh
want to
yeah.
shoot myself. Oh,
Get me out of the Sackett household and get me back to my apartment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like that's really the only time where you have like an extended break, because if you get out of like Labor Day, the next one is like Thanksgiving, and then you're right into Christmas, New Year's. Like,
we bunch them together. We need to spread them out more.
I know.
There needs to be like quarterly breaks.
We should move Thanksgiving.
I've always said this.
There's
I'm
no
always
reason
saying we should move Thanksgiving.
We should do Thanksgiving in March.
Well, I don't know about that. I think we should move
Thanksgiving. It's still cold,
It's so
you can
fall.
still have turkey.
I think Thanksgiving should be in October. I think Thanksgiving should be around Halloween time, because Halloween's not like a gathering holiday. That's like you spend 2 hours on Halloween. Thanksgiving is like a real holiday. Then November and December become about Christmas.
They should do Halloween like the Tuesday of Thanksgiving. So you have Halloween on Tuesday, you have Thanksgiving on Thursday, and you just knock it out, right?
Okay.
And then
this
people
is our
like
presidential platform.
Yeah. Come on.
Abolish daylight saving.
Way, who
move
cares?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, who cares that Thanksgiving is on some random Thursday in November? Like, we don't care when it is. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's move it.
Spring break. All right, we need an official employee spring break. That's what we're saying. The other thing I want to talk about is, and I keep running into this, I'm trying to find like real world examples of workers using AI. Because if you see the marketing coming from all the AI companies, from all the big companies, from every media outlet, like everything is AI and workers and AI. And then I talk to people and they're just like, what? They don't know they're using AI and they're using AI, or they're just not using AI. I'm an early adopter, so I tend to I use AI daily. And I'm just wondering, like, are you like in your company or in your role in your industry, is that something like that you're talking about? Are you using? If so, like what, how, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I think so. I work in marketing, obviously, and like in a more creative side of marketing, and that is definitely. I think it's definitely frowned upon in more creative spaces. I mean, we see places like the Oscars, it being a really huge controversy when movies have used AI because it infringes seemingly on artists' rights a lot of times, or like the integrity of creativity. Which, whatever, we're not here to discuss that, but it is interesting when. Like, I create a lot of things for a living that AI could help with. To be honest, like, I just haven't integrated it into a lot of my processes yet. And especially when I'm thinking about how I create video, which is the majority of my job, is like creating video and content for social, is I actually don't think the technology is there unless you really know how to use it. So you have to be like an expert to really use it in a great way, in a way that people are going to enjoy. And then you actually see a lot of, I've experienced this on our own social, is like, we don't we haven't really used AI in a meaningful way. We've worked with a few people that have used AI to like, make elements within their video, and we get backlash. Like people are really turned off against it, and they don't like AI in their marketing, it seems. And a lot of times they don't know, they can't tell. And so sometimes they think it's AI when it's truly not. It's just that it looks like it. But
Yeah.
I know I'm using it because, every time you Google something now, you're using
Yeah.
AI. And
Yeah.
a lot of the programs that I use for reporting and data, like those are obviously have AI integrated into it. But I've also found I monitor a lot of like comments, DMs to our social accounts. Like we get so many DMs from celebrities and influencers who are using ChatGPT to send their DMs. And it's just like, there's no thought behind this. The editing needs to be improved.
I will say, like, I'm like, I constantly, like, again, for creative work, what I'll usually do is just write the entire thing myself and then throw it into, GPT or something like that, Grok, whatever. Yeah. And then ask it for specific things. Sometimes it's like, hey, can you, make this more SEO friendly? Or sometimes like I'll say, hey, I'm working on this presentation about this, and this is the audience, and give me like 10 titles that are, exciting and grabbing attention, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll come up with it's like more brainstorming. Then I'm like, oh, I like that part, that part, that part. So you're still like using that creative process, but it's almost like you have this kind of this agent, that's kind of brainstorming with you from that standpoint. The video stuff, literally at one point, I was writing a post and I wanted to put in an image, and then I'm like, oh, I should do like a little quick video AI. And it was all about, I always make the joke of having a candidate throw up on your desk. And I say that, and they don't really throw up on your desk, but they come in and they're nervous and, blah, blah, blah. So I really I asked the AI to like, give me this video of a candidate throwing up on the desk. And it was like, the candidate would be like, and it would like, and then a wave, like literally an ocean wave would come out of its mouth onto the desk and then disappear. And I'm like, and I kept trying, like prompting it differently. And it just never looked real. It was just this wave that came out of the head, basically.
That's so funny.
I'm like, okay, you can't do it. But then I see somebody that does like a really good AI video, and I'm like, holy crap. But then I'm like, oh, they have to be like, that's their thing, right? Like they don't tell you like, oh, it just took me 13 seconds. It probably took them, 30 hours to put together this 15 seconds of AI video that looks real, that speaks to a story, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, hopefully I can just tell them like, hey, I want to show a candidate with a hiring manager behind a desk throwing up on the hiring manager. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's perfect. Awesome. That's amazing.
The people that I hear, like of my friends and people that I work with that tend to use AI the most, it's really the writing and editing standpoint, like you're talking about. I think I hear a lot of like project manager type roles where it's like they're just taking notes or they're summarizing things or sending emails. They're writing copy for decks, and it just is using it to summarize and to cut down on time. And I feel like that's where it's been most acceptable in my experience. But I think when you're thinking about everything being internal facing, it's more acceptable. But as soon as you're creating something for a consumer external facing, I think AI raises a lot of red flags, especially with the away following community, which I get it and I don't.
I did see like, at first, when like the whole AI stuff came out, everyone was concerned about like students, like, oh, they're going to do all their work through AI, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, and then all of a sudden there was this creation of all these solutions that could check if something was written by AI. And then there was more, technology built to, say like, I can like write this, like AI can't detect it, so you had that detection, anti-detection, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And now like, you don't even hear about it. And I think like, especially at the university level, I think they've just gone, this is a tool these people will always have in their life. And if you still have to prompt it, you still have to go back and cite and get the real information, let them know like what you want. Like if that's a tool, it's kind of like having a calculator. Like you don't ask a college student to do long division now, right? You're like, that's dumb. Like, like this is something where they should be able to use a computer or, write code to like do that problem, whatever. Like, why would we have them try to solve for that? The creativity side of me though, is like, because you know how that is like when you start to go develop something, there's a part of you where the sausage is made that is just like, it's in the moment, it happens, you try things, it doesn't work. And if you're just like prompting an AI to give you something and you're like, okay, it's good enough. Like, do we really get that creative out of it? Plus, AI itself isn't creative. AI itself is actually just replicating
Hmm.
everything it knows in a different, like, a lineup, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not really giving you something fresh. It's giving you stuff that you've already seen, maybe just mixed together a little bit differently. And you go, oh, well, isn't that creativity? And you're like, well, but there's nothing new necessarily that can be created out of that, which is kind of interesting from that
Yeah.
standpoint. Like from a corporate standpoint, do you guys hear about it? Are you giving tools about, that says, hey, here's this new AI tool that you guys can use? Like when you guys given access to GPT or like an enterprise version or anything like that?
I haven't been given access to anything. I haven't been given like necessarily explicit instruction on like what I can and can't do. But of all the companies I've worked for, in like my career, everyone's taking it very seriously and like how we use this, and it seems like they're moving quite slow in adopting it. And I know certain like companies that I've worked for are like doing task forces and really spending their time determining like what will be implemented, what won't be implemented. I think it probably stems a lot from just employee concern that, the classic, like my job is going to be taken by AI. And so they want to take a lot of consideration into that rather
Yeah.
than move quickly.
That's why I wanted to talk about it. That's my entire point is I just don't think AI is moving as fast as what we think it is in terms of
No, I
adoption
don't
of
think so
usage in the
either.
workplace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like and again, part of that I think is lack of understanding education. Like what I hear constantly is people are interested, but
Hmm.
the interest is turned in automatically to tell me exactly what tool and how you used it to do what thing, because I want to replicate that. I want to do that too. If it's going to make me more efficient, if it's going to make me better, whatever that might be. And yet, even the vendors aren't telling people. They're like, they have all these boastful kind of marketing language, like, "Oh my gosh, you can be a 10x employee," but then they don't never say how. It's like,
I know.
just tell them. Why are we
Yeah.
hiding like how these tools actually work and use?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're in this like brand marketing phase of AI where it's not product marketing. We're not like understanding how to use it. I have like get emails from vendors all the time. Those kind of things. Like with AI, you can 10x your results. I'm like, but I don't know how. And you could like send me a trial of your program and I still won't know how because
Yeah.
and I can figure it out. Like I'm, young and work in the workplace and know how to use tech, but someone teach me how this actually works.
This has been, yeah, like I've been in the HR tech space for probably, 12, 15 years. And like, it's been my one gripe I've always had to product marketing people is they assume the end buyer user is way more like, higher level than what they really are around the technology, right? Around the
Hmm.
processes. They might be a great HR person or a great recruiter or a great whatever, but you still have to tell them, show them exactly how to use that technology. And if it's something like AI where they go, oh, well, you could build an agent to do a trillion different things. Well, cool. Start with 5. Start with
Yeah.
10. Show, and let them get used to what that can actually do and then show them how to build. But they don't even do that. They just launch the product and go, here you go. And then they're like, oh, there's no adoption. And you go, of course there's not, because they don't know how to use it, moron. Like figure it out. Like help them to help themselves. And like I just think that's so crazy that we still haven't figured that out on the product marketing side. So
Yeah. I also think
yeah.
about like the brand I work for. We're not a large company and we don't have the people that could just dedicate the time to doing this. And I'm sure a lot of companies can have those resources. When you think about, big finance companies or big tech companies, like they can figure it, they can have task forces and they can have
Yeah.
like entire teams that are geared towards implementation. But like we're all busy all the time. Like we don't have time to figure out how we want to use this and build a system, and it'll probably make us more successful in the long run, but it's hard to think about that in the short run. And so that's like a
You,
huge thing facing a lot of us.
you bring up a great point because I think one of the issues that we see that we're facing is like people are scared of job elimination, right? Because of AI. But we also know that every tech revolution, we have more jobs created because of the technology. And like what you
Hmm.
said is like, okay, so now we have IT and like learning development, like struggling, like, okay, so who should go out and do this? And IT is like, well, we're not trainers and we don't know, and then learning development is like, well, we don't know technology. And so now all of a sudden you have this creative kind of position that creates this saying like, well, really, IT needs trainers in workforce productivity management tools, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like this weird conglomeration between, technology and learning and development. And like, again, very few companies are at that level of even talking about that, saying, hey, if we want to get to this 10X, then we have to create these resources to help our people get there. You're going to have some early adopters that get there fast. But if you're just waiting for the early adopters to teach everybody else, there's no way you're going to move fast enough,
Do you know who that generation of people is going to be? It's going to be the people that either work for or have worked for the Apple Store. Like, that's going to be who is doing this. All the Genius Bar employees.
Yeah, right. Those are great employees for that. Like now, so like those companies that are like, I don't know how to launch, AI. Go hire a genius person at the Apple Bar.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. They
Really?
have to explain tech to like the dumbest people in the world. The amount of times I've seen an Apple Store employee have to struggle through explaining to like a 78-year-old couple how to use an iPhone. Like they have to be the most patient people in the world, and they probably would be great at implementing these new technologies as well.
Cam, I think you just launched a hack. Like you're going to see all these big companies now, like just like stealing all the talent from the Apple Store.
I'm going to start. I'm literally going to start like a new HRU, and I'm
an
just
AI yes. consulting practice.
Yeah,
we'll send our people in. It's just going to be a bunch of like they can just like change the name tag, and they'll still have the red. Like, are they red shirts still on the Apple Store? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, great. I have my $1 billion idea.
There you go. You better get it now. Awesome. All right. Anything else?
No, just living the dream.
Living the dream. What's the new product for Away that everybody can buy? What do you guys got coming?
Actually, there's a new product. When does this come out? What day of the? Well, it'll come out.
It'll be a couple weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have hopefully still our translucent collection, which is like pink and green and really fun spring break colors.
I saw that TikTok. It was a little bit of
Wicked.
What's the Wicked kind of theme to it, right? With the green and the pink.
Yeah, it much is giving that. We do not have an official partnership, so we're not claiming a Wicked partnership, but I wish we did. And so that's new. We also will have it's called a stadium bag. It's like a clear little bag that you can bring to sports games, concerts. So go check that out, awaytravel.com, and follow Away on Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. Where can they find you? On the LinkedIn?
They can find me, Cameron Sackett, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm posting on TikTok a lot these days. You can find me there. I'm basically everywhere.
Cool. All right, everybody. That's HR Famous. Another episode in the books. I'll try better next time. We'll see you then. Bye.